Erev Tov Mishpocha. Welcome, family. It's me, the Rabbina, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about our faith. Um, and I'm just waiting for people to come on. Kifa is in the background getting things ready, and I do have a few thoughts to share tonight, but I want to leave it open for anyone who's got a specific question to ask. So I do hope you had a wonderful Hanukkah and um, that you are safe and warm. I know we've had some very crazy weather lately, and we're in north central Illinois, so we're in the middle of the state or the middle of the country, and so we've had a lot of snow, and then we had some very good weather, unusually good weather for about a week, and that was last week, and I think that's pretty much over now. We're starting to take a nosedive temperature-wise, but I guess there's supposed to be a little bit of an upswing. But in any case, we will just weather the weather and prayerfully seek the Lord for wisdom, especially as things are, the roads are not great with all the snow and the ice and everything. So we seek the Lord for wisdom in our travel. Um, of course, it's always wise to stay home and where you are in familiar surroundings, where it's nice and warm. And un- unless it's an emergency, just stay home. Don't go out. And I hope if you are staying home this evening that you are um, taking an advantage uh, of this program being on tonight. And of course, we meet every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. That's Central Standard Time. And usually it's an open forum. And I do welcome people to use the live chat. That's how I know what's on your mind. Of course, I'll share what's on my mind too. But I would hope that people would um, tune in and put their question in the live chat. And even if you join us after the program has finished, if I see a question there, I will answer that question. So don't be shy. Go ahead and use the live chat. So, okay. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, wait for more of you to tune in, and I'm going to reach for my cup of hot tea. Mm, that's always a welcome a welcome treat on a cold night. And I guess I can't say cold winter night. It's officially winter. Um, but I hope you will take advantage of being at home and staying warm, staying safe. Grab that warm cup of your favorite beverage, whether it's coffee, tea, hot cocoa, um, cider, whatever you enjoy, whatever warms your insides, and just stay warm and cozy um, as we open the floor for any questions. Oh, Kifa's on. And Kifa says Erev Tov, means good evening in Hebrew. Good evening, Erev Tov, Kifa. Um, and we have a few more people come on. I'm so glad that you are here joining us. And if you have any questions, um, questions that are based on biblical things, and we will try and answer your questions biblically to the best of our ability with Yah's help. And so usually for our Q&A nights, the first person to ask a question sort of sets the tone for things. And I know Kifa's probably got all kinds of questions. But I want to leave it open for anyone else who might have a question. So don't be shy. Go ahead and put your question in the live chat. And and if you would just give me a shalom or a howdy, however you want to greet the folks at home and myself. Go ahead and put that in the live chat so I know you're there. And um, okay, I'm just checking. All right. I know one of the things that has been on my mind, and I don't know how many of you watch the news, but there have been two, well, there's been a lot of news that is really disturbing. And I know some people are panicking, some people are angry because of what they're hearing. Some people see that those things that are happening in the world today portend the end of life as we know it. And um, anyway, a couple of things that really have been forward in my mind. And I hope you'll excuse me, but I'm going to get rid of that banner. There we go. Uh, Two things. There's been flooding in California, all up and down the coast. And of course, I'm concerned because I have family in California. That's where I originally am from, the San Francisco Bay Area. And I do have my father still lives in the South Bay in Santa Clara, and he actually lives in the house that we grew up in. And but he wants he wants to stay there. He doesn't want to go to a nursing home or anything like that. He's 95, but he's very with it. He is right there. He's chipper, great sense of humor. He's in good health, um, and really, he doesn't worry about a thing. Um, and then, of course, I've got a couple of sisters that still live in California. One of them had moved to Alabama, and of course, there's issues there. But specifically in California, I've got three other sisters who are there, and one of them, let's see, one of them lives in close to where my father lives, and another one is a little further away. Um, And then the third one is up near Sacramento, so that's a few more hours to travel to get to see my dad, but they're faithful about this. They come in, they take turns visiting my dad, our dad, and just checking in on him, making sure he's okay, making sure he's eating. I don't think he has a problem eating. He loves to eat. But they come in to check that he's not just eating chocolate ice cream. I know him. We all know him. So, but it's good that there's family there checking in on him. But I know myself, my family here in the Midwest, we're concerned about him because of these um, reports of massive flooding all up and down the coast. I know LA is getting hit really hard and all that area, Santa Barbara. Um, and then, of course, up in the San Francisco Bay Area where my dad and a couple of my sisters live, um, that's worrisome because of the infrastructure being pummeled, being destroyed with all this flooding, with all these storms. Um, and I guess that began on the 25th on Christmas Day. So um, I don't know what to make of that. But it's been going on for a number of days now, almost a week now, and a lot of people have been taken to shelters, to they've had to leave their homes. Of course, the roads are flooded. Homes have been covered by these flood waters, and so we're very concerned about that. Um, so that's one thing that's concerning. One thing that's I know it's been heavy on my heart and on my mind. Um, and the other thing is this new law that's being pushed, being passed. I don't know if it's been signed into law yet. I've heard a lot about it. Maybe you have. And it's a new law that is changing um, the laws about abortion. And from what has been proposed in California, and I don't know if this has been proposed in other states, but California has been very um, pro-choice, as they like to say, and except the only person that doesn't get a choice is that baby. So, what is very, very concerning, and of course, abortion is concerning anyway. It's very serious, very serious. You are talking about the life of the most vulnerable human, and that which is the baby in the womb, the infant in the womb. This new law that they're talking about would allow abortion, would allow the killing of this baby up until 28 days after the birth of the child. It is no longer abortion. It is infanticide. It is the killing of the most vulnerable among us. Now, I spoke of this flooding, the weather that's been so um, harsh, dangerous, deadly, pummeling California. And here we've got this law that, for all intents and purposes, I think they're going to pass it if they haven't already. And my question is, do the two things have something to do with each other? Now, a lot of us know, those of us who are believers, those of us who um, put stock in the prophetic, we understand the prophetic. We understand that those things that happen there's nothing new under the sun. Um, when something happens, it will happen again and again and again. That's how the prophetic works. And so we know that sin is punished. We know that we've seen, even in these modern times, where if a decision was made in our government that was an abomination in the eyes of our God, then some kind of consequence comes about. Now, we know that when any decision to do something against Israel happens, when any decision against Israel, any attack against Israel occurs, especially when it's instigated or promoted by people in our government, our American society, then the consequences fall to our American society. We see that. We see that with sickness. We see that with earthquakes. We see that with floods, tornadoes, um, all kinds of natural disasters, acts of God. And this is not just a one-off thing. This happens time and time again. Um, let me know. Let me know if you have any opinion on this. If what do you think about this? What we're experiencing right now. Here, California has passed or will soon pass a law that okays murder of babies, not just in the womb, but after birth, up to 28 days old. This is no longer what some people, proponents of choice, will call it's just a blob of tissue. No, it's a baby. So do you feel that this what's happening in California is judgment against what is being done in California? I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about this. Go ahead and put your comment in the live chat. I wanted to open with that. Now, especially in lieu of, we're ending the year 2025, and there's so much that's going on, so much that is going on against believers. Many are being persecuted, not just around the world, and I don't mean that to sound flippant. It's very serious. We're hearing more and more persecutions in the Congo, in Nigeria, various places in Africa where African Christians, Coptic Christians, those are Egyptian, Coptic means Egyptian, Christians are being slaughtered. They're being herded into their churches and burned alive within the churches. Um, and this persecution is not just happening on the other side of the world. We are seeing it happen right here in the United States, and not just against Christians, but it seems that resurgent of anti-Semitic rhetoric, propaganda, persecution is being more commonplace. We're seeing it not just in third world countries. We're seeing it here in our country. Horrible things. People being attacked, being harmed, being killed because of who they are, because of what they believe, and because of what they are speaking. We saw it a couple of months ago with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I know many people didn't agree with him. And that's okay to disagree. I think any mature thinking person would agree that it's all right to disagree with someone, but when you take it to the level of murder, torture, persecution, it's not just name calling anymore. It's not just It's not just talk anymore. People are doing things that the world would have looked at and gasped and thought, "This is terrible. How come? How would people? Why would people do something that horrific?" But people are doing that, and more people are defending that kind of violence. I remember, and you probably felt the same way. I remember seeing instances of people when Charlie Kirk was murdered, people rejoicing, people celebrating his murder, people making fun of the way he died, and not just people in the dregs of society, but you've got teachers, people in professions that you would think, anyone in the medical profession, in lawyers, doctors, teachers, professors, people in what would be the higher end of society. You would think that no one in that part of our community would react that way, and yet they did. And people celebrate it, and they celebrate those who commit such horrific acts. And even before that, 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, October 7th, people were celebrating the attack, the murder, the horrific um, torture and assault of not only men, but women, the elderly, children, babies, and they celebrated. What kind of human beings are these? What kind of human being celebrates killing children, and especially their own children? Yes, there are people out there that celebrate their abortions, and they continue to have these abortions. These are not what used to be spoken of as being safe and rare. These are everyday occurrences. Thousands, millions of innocent babies have been murdered. It seems that this culture in the West has joined the culture in some places on the other side of the world where human life doesn't mean anything, where stealing, where killing, where extortion, where just terrible, terrible assaults against humanity happen. And it's not thought of anything as being anything to look down upon. Yes, there are places on the other side of the world that that sort of behavior is celebrated. And now we see that that kind of wrong thinking coming into our country. We see it in the United States, we see it in Canada. It first started in Europe, and now Europe is Europe is burning. Europe, it's no longer safe. I once thought I would love to go retrace the roots of my ancestry, go to Spain, go to Portugal, North Africa, that the Mediterranean. I would love to visit those places. I'd love to visit the British Isles, where some of my other ancestors came from. But why? Why would I want to go there and risk being assaulted, attacked, um, like people that are living in places like England and Germany and France? Um, those places are not what they used to be. And now we see it here in America. I'm angry about that. I don't understand it. And so now we see the worst, the worst of the worst. Yes, there's been assaults on people, grown adults in this country because of who they worship, how they worship, what their lineage is. But now we see this horrible violence against the most vulnerable of our citizens, those not just in the womb anymore, but babies, newborns, fresh from heaven. And of course, this is the work of the enemy. We know it. This is he the enemy, Hasatan, comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what he's doing. And he's coming against our country in that way. If he can't cause us to our country to fail, he will cause people to fail, have a failure of right thinking, have a failure of their hearts not caring for others, not caring, not valuing life. And so we see that in California now with the passing of this law. And now California is dealing, I believe, is dealing with judgment. Things like this just don't happen out of the clear blue and not so close together. On the tail of that decision to allow infanticide, to allow what they call abortion of babies up until 28 days after birth. And right on the heels of that decision comes this weather that is pummeling California. And I was just watching a program, they're even saying that the weight of these floodwaters is bearing down on that state, the whole state, up and down the state, that it wouldn't be a surprise if half of California fell into the sea, because it's putting pressure on that fault line that runs north and south. Half of California, can you imagine? Breaking off, being destroyed. It's happening now as we speak. I believe this is the judgment of our God. And I know there's there are people out there going, they're saying, how can, if God is a God of love, how can he do this to people? Brothers and sisters, the people did it to themselves. And I know not all of them did. There are people who are going to suffer that are not on the side of the destruction of preborns and newborns. But that that disease of wrong thinking is bringing down the entire population. So I know we're coming into a new year, and I do hope that things get turned around. I do hope that more and more people will stand up and say, no, not on my watch. I do pray, I hope and pray that the governor of California has a Damascus Road moment, just like Rav Shaul, just like Paul was blinded by the vision of Messiah Yeshua saying, why are you persecuting me? Because it was Paul who was persecuting believers. I want to see I want to see Governor Newsom have that Damascus Road experience and change his thoughts and his ways. And I know there's more than him. All those people around him, those people who hold him up, who actually had influence putting him where he is right now and have his ear. Lord, I just pray that you put them in a position where they have that Damascus Road experience as well. You know, it's I don't want to believe that it's too late for California because there's many people there yet who still they are people of faith. They still have a knowledge of right and wrong, and they choose right, not right according to how they feel, how they're, listen to your heart. And well, they may be listening to, some may be listening to their hearts, but their hearts are our hearts are wicked. We can't trust our heart. They should be listening to the voice, that still small voice of our Creator. And I believe there are people that are still fighting the good fight, that are still praying so that our God, our Creator, moves the hearts of those that have the power to turn things around for California. I dearly hope it's not too late. And not just because I have family there. The family that I have there, they are believers. They put their faith in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And in the end, no matter what, we will see each other again. But I just fear for those who foolishly are sawing off the tree branch that they're sitting in, because I think that's exactly what's happening there in California. I would love it if any of you would drop in a comment in the live chat. Let me know what you're thinking. Kifa, do you have anything? I know there's some people out there that have not said hello, have not said shalom. You haven't. So I don't know who's watching right now, but I do hope that you've got something to say. Maybe it's something that we all need to hear. And it's not just those who are on this program right now that are hearing this, because hours after we close this program, others will be watching. And I think they want to hear what your opinion is. If you've got a scripture that's pertinent, if you have a prayer that you want to put forth, don't be shy. We want to hear from you. I know I do. Okay. Well, um and I don't mind. I don't mind being the lone voice, but I want to know. I want to know if do you think I'm off my rocker? What do you think of what I've said? What do you think of these things that are happening? Do you feel that those two major things that are going on in California have anything to do with each other? I would really love to hear what your opinion is. I'll check private chat. Okay, studio chat. No? Okay. It's pretty quiet out there. Okay, well, if anything, please pray on this and ask the Lord what He would have you do concerning this. The more voices that we have speaking out, the better. Because then it doesn't seem like it's only a handful of people that are on the side of Yahweh and his principles. We need more voices out there. Okay. Well, it is um it is past the hour, and so I will leave that there, and I do hope that you will um join us on Wednesday night at 6:30 when we have our midweek midrash. And I do realize it's New Year's Eve, but what better way to end this year and begin the next year than to have a time of studying Yahweh's word and praying for the new year, praying that it'll be a better year, praying that more and more people would get serious about their faith and more outspoken, that would take a stand, because a single word can save a life. And according to Jewish tradition, if you've saved one life, you've saved the whole world. So you all are important. And I hope to hear from you, maybe after we've closed the program. Put your opinion, whatever you have to say there, in the live chat. And if you have a question, I will answer that question. Otherwise, I will see you on Wednesday evening for our midweek midrash. And I do pray that you have a good new year coming, and that changes to your circumstances would be for the better, would be a blessing to you. So I hope this was a blessing to you. And if it was, please like and subscribe so that you'll get notices of more programs just like this. And also, it helps with the algorithm. Not sure how that works, but uh, when when we get likes and when more people subscribe to this channel, then the powers that be push this program and others like it to the forefront, so more people will be able to hear the word and know that there are others out there that believe as they do. So I hope you will join me on Wednesday night, and I want to bless you. If we don't see you Wednesday night, I want to say happy secular new year and bless you. And until we see you each other again, shalom, shalom.